We got a couple questions from Pear. The first one is this. What, if anything, would you recommend doing on the days between workouts in the ABC formula? How much exercise on off days would you say is acceptable without disrupting the hypertrophy and recovery needed? I'm coming out with a supplement to the ABF. And one of the things I personally think while you're doing the ABF, you should do it as written. Between our Monday and Wednesday workout, we do either a ruck, a heavy hands, or a long walk, but you can also do swim, you could ride a bike, but just, long and easy and enjoyable, get a good conversation about good movies or the local teams or whatever you want. And so that you get, you make 2-mile walk, 3-mile walk, a 4-mile walk, just kind of breeze past you. I would suggest that that's what we do on Tuesday. So that's what we do. Okay. Thursdays, we do a 1-hour original strength mobility workout. And that's what I think are the two best things to do. On the other 2 days a week, get your laundry done, do your housework, go shopping, basically take care of business and don't overthink it. On certain forums online, people are talking about doing all these snatches and doing all these Turkish get-ups and all this extra work and volume. But I'll notice a few weeks later, that same person asking about doing all this extra stuff is also complaining about they can't get their presses in. So the phrase I always use is how many rabbits are you chasing? Do the ABF, give it its 8 weeks. If you like it, great. High fives to everybody. If you loathe it, great. Don't do it again, okay? But I would say walk, mobility, swim, mobility, whatever it is. Mobility, walk. Those are the answers. Okay. But there's a follow-up-ishy kind of question that you put here. He says a PT. Now, it's hard because I don't know if that's a personal trainer or a physical therapist, but it doesn't matter either way. Once told me that any activity between training days would interfere with hypertrophy. For example, I bike to work 30 minutes each way daily. That, by the way, is very impressive. And would like to practice my snatch technique on off days using lighter weight. I've heard you suggest 30 seconds of hanging and some mobility work in previous podcasts. But generally speaking, how much is too much when it comes to maintaining recovery? So over here I got Tommy Kona's great book on Olympic lifting. He makes his point that it's just so good. So you got to test, he basically considers, your energy levels like a test tube, okay? So here's a test tube, and you work out, you start with it completely full, and it drains out this capacity. If you give it 2 days of rest, it refills back up to the top, and then when you work out, it drains out. You give it a day or two of rest, it fills back up. I like that. It's a simple way, I think, to explain recovery, and I think it's true. Now, if you decide to do the armor building complex for 30 minutes on Monday, and then you come in and you do 300 snatches on Tuesday, when you get to train on your high presses on Wednesday, do you have the tank? Is your tank full enough to do 100 presses with each hand? That's the question I have. So the issue, and that's why, so many of my older books on bodybuilding and basically hypertrophy books, they were very much into, you can only train 3 days a week. Monday, Wednesday, Saturday was almost a religion to a lot of people I knew growing up for their bodybuilding days. Now, with the advent of drugs, the rules change. But for those of us who don't, the rules haven't changed. You just trying to train 5-6 days a week. And it's interesting because, when people say, well, this is how Mr. Olympia trained. Yeah, I know, but look at Arnold's book. He recommends 6 months of calisthenics and then that 3-day-a-week program. And then, of course, he also recommended to many bodybuilders what he called the Big Six. And these are 3-day-a-week programs, and they work. 3 days a week, if you work, is a lot of work. Okay? Adding those extra days are fine unless they take away from the hard days. And I can't tell you how you're going to know if that's happening to you. I know personally how I do. Basically, I just ask people who know me how I'm doing. If they're all cuddled in a corner of the room saying, "You're fine, you're fine," that means I'm probably not. It means I'm probably overtrained. I'm hangry and I'm irritable, and I need days off to recover. All right.